Hello, 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 everyone. Welcome to Raven's Escape Crafts, or welcome back to Raven's Escape Crafts. I'm Sue, your host for this channel. Welcome, and here we talk all things about crochet and lots of other stuff. So, and I make all sorts of different crochet things. Been mainly working on things for Renaissance fairs and other things lately, including this, which is my brand new, the one I finished actually just a few minutes ago, which is my dragon's tail hood. It is a hood with a dragon tail attached to it, a dragon tail scarf. I mentioned this in my video yesterday where I had my blue one, but if you didn't see that one, this is actually a pattern, a tutorial, I should say, that I watched from Fiber Spider. So check out his channel if you want to learn how to make the tail. And then the hood is just a generic hood that I make. And I explained that in yesterday's video. So if that's something you're interested in, go ahead and watch yesterday's video for Monday, and it explains how I do it. So I really like this green one. I think it's really cool. I just finished it finally. And I didn't mention yesterday, but the yarn I used for this was the Premier Just yarn in the ombre. I know it's backwards, but it took a little over one ball for the entire thing. So, and this is a 4-weight medium, calls for a 5mm knitting needle, a US 8, or a 5.5mm I9 crochet hook. Machine wash warm, tumble dry low. And this color, the blue was denim ombre. The green is moss ombre. And this is, let's see, 612 yards, 560 meters, 280 grams, 100% acrylic. So in case you were wondering. And like I said, this is my dragon tail hood. You can wear it many different ways. You can leave it down. You can actually put it down the back. I like to wear it. I really like this look. We wear it around the front. But you can also put it around the back and just leave it hang down like a tail. I think these are really fun. So I made a purple one, I made a blue one, and now I made a green one. I still need to do a red one and a black one, but I don't have the yarn. But talking about yarn, oh my goodness, my brain is, it's really hot here today, and even though I'm inside in the air conditioning, it's still like affecting me. Having all kind of trouble because of it, so you just have to excuse me a little bit. I'm really sorry. I'm trying today. Even my voice sounds funny today. I don't know why. So, but this is a nice big hood, as you can see. All right, so so that's what I made. That's what I got finished today. I've been working on this since yesterday. This hood, and I really like the green, and I really like the ombre effect. I really think it turned out really nice. What do you guys think? I need to slow down. I'm a little like, today. Oh, I'm so late making this video. And so I guess I'm talking faster to try to make up for lost time. I don't know what it is. Oh, excuse my coughing. So how is everyone doing today? Let's take a pause button. Let's take a pause and think, how is everyone doing today? How's the weather where you are? Is it hot too? I got so much stuff to get done today. And I had to frog this. I was working on it. I put it together, and then I realized I put it together wrong. Because I make the two pieces separate, and then you have to sew them together, and I sewed them together. And I looked at it this morning. It was one of those things. All right, let's get serious. Let's get real here. I have insomnia sometimes. I have a lot of pain from perimenopause and other issues, and so sometimes I can't sleep because my feet hurt so bad. And last night was one of those nights where no matter what I did, I could not get to sleep. I fell asleep for a little bit. I woke up at 3 o'clock. I fell asleep at 1:30, woke up at 3 o'clock. Could not get back to sleep, so I ended up working on this for a while. Got up this morning, worked on it some more, put it together when I had not gotten very much sleep, and I shouldn't have. I should have waited until I was more awake, but I didn't. I did it while I was still in pain and tired, and I was still tired, but that's neither here nor there. And so I did it wrong. I did it completely wrong. I even sewed my ends in, and it was wrong. And if anybody does crochet and sews their ends in, you know how impossible it is to pull it apart once you sew your ends in. It is an absolute nightmare. So I have spent the last 3 hours taking it apart and trying to fix it. Yay. So now I'm finally getting to make the video because I really wanted to put this in the video because I was that close to being done. So now it's fixed and it's done. And I caused myself, a couple extra hours worth of work. So, and again, I'm not looking for sympathy. I should have known better. I was determined to get this thing done overnight, and I was too tired. I was not thinking straight. I should have waited. I know better. I did it to myself, and I was just frustrated with myself because I really didn't want to have to redo it all. So, but I did, and now it's done, and whatever. So like I said, you can wear this in the front. You can wear it across. You can even wear it around the back. My husband was trying that. You can even wear it and it'll stay. You can just wear it over your shoulder and it'll go down the side of the tail. These are actually really fun. And like I said, I really wanted to get it done for the video, and I was like, well, since I'm up, I might as well work on it. Well, you learn, you screw up and you fix it. That's what we do. That's how we roll around here. So I'm not perfect. I've been crocheting for 20 plus years and I still screw it up. So there you go. I'm admitting it. Y'all heard it here. But I love the way it turned out. I think it's a gorgeous thing. Totally in love with it. So totally happy with it. Like I said, I think I need to put a button on the hood here so that if you want to put it up over your shoulder, that it'll stay better. That you're not going to have to keep messing with it. Because it does seem to want to fall off of my shoulder. But it is really comfy and I really like the look of it. So I'm happy. It's done now. It's in the past. The frog is in the past. The mistakes are in the past. And we're forging ahead. And now I don't know what I want to make next. I really want to try to use that yarn I sewed yesterday. But I don't know what to make with it. And I have another couple ideas to finish these balls of the blue and the green to make accessories for this. But I'm not sure what I want to do yet. So, if I wasn't so darn tired, it would probably help a bunch. So, I not to make excuses, but I'm really sensitive with the heat anymore. And even if I'm in the house with the air conditioning, I still get affected by it. And of course, now only sleeping for an hour and a half, I'm just tired. I'm so tired. But, it's not the first time I've been tired. We shall forge forward. And even though I'm making this video late, and as I'm sure you can tell, I'm not in the best of spirits, but I'm trying. I am making myself. I'm getting past being frustrated. I'm getting past being tired. I'm trying to just enjoy what I can of today. So the second thing I want to talk about today is tomorrow. Though I am excited because tomorrow on Wednesday, I like to tell you guys about deals and steals that I've seen. Tomorrow, Premier has the countdown on Premier Yarns. Have a countdown on their website that their huge sale is starting tomorrow. If you go on their website, there's a countdown timer at the top of the screen. And on top of it, if you follow Creative Grandma, she has announced, usually she does her lives on Tuesdays, her and Cody, but this week they're doing it on Wednesday because they're gonna, do it to coincide with the Premier sale, and Premier is going to be on there live and give us a free shipping code. So if you like Premier Yarn, which I have to admit, I was not a Premier girl until after Joann's got announced that they were closing, and I started watching a lot of the different YouTube creators and found Premier Yarns, and I started ordering. I think I've ordered 3 times since then. And really love their yarn. So far, nothing I've gotten from them I've been disappointed in. I've really liked everything. I love these ombres. They're very nice. They're reasonably priced. So the fact that they're having a sale, I found most of their yarn is really reasonably priced, and they have really good sales every week. So I've been really happy with them so far. Everything I've gotten, I've really liked from them. So, I'm hoping tomorrow they're going to have a really cool sale, and then Creative Grandma's going to have free shipping, and I might have to get off my yarn buying ban and order some stuff, because there are a couple more colors in the ombre that I want to make hoods out of. I think it would be really cool, so I would kind of like to order a few more balls of that. And of course, Premier Puzzle. Everybody loves Premier Puzzle. I also like the Chunky Serenity, I think it's called. I don't know. There's a whole bunch of them on there that I really like. So check it out, and then check out Creative Grandma tomorrow on her live. She's going to have this free shipping code. So let's all buy some yarn. All right. So, and the last thing I wanted to talk about today was that, so I was watching the Jimmy Kimmel's last night. Jimmy Kimmel's on vacation, so he has Diego Luna is hosting this week. And I know Diego Luna from Andor, of course, Star Wars. So, of course, I'm a big fan of Diego Luna. I really think he did an amazing job, not only in the movie, but in the TV series. Absolutely fell in love with him for that. And so he was hosting last night, was his first night hosting. And I was watching, and he did his monologue last night and was talking about, and here's what I'm going to say. Look, I'm going to get a little bit political without getting political, okay? So if you don't like that, you can feel free to turn this off. But he was talking about immigrants because, of course, he's from Mexico. And if you didn't see it, you can watch it on YouTube. He gave a really moving monologue last night about immigrants and immigration and things like that. Go watch it. I would do no justice to it. But, I'm sometimes hesitant to be political on here because you lose viewers and things like that. But I'm going to get political without really being political. I feel, one of the things he said last night was share a story. Share a story and let these, immigrants in this country know that you are with them. And so I feel like it's important. I'm going to share my story. I'm going to share my family's story and tell you why I will never take a stance against immigrants, okay? So there's been a lot of talk lately, and, again, if you don't want to hear this, then turn it off. But there's been so much talk about illegal immigrants anymore, okay? Illegals, people without papers, and I could go on and on and on about how I feel about that. But again, I'm not going to. I'm going to tell you my family story. And I'm going to tell you why I have absolutely no right ever to judge anyone. So my family came here. Now on my mother's side, her last name was Miller. Um, she her maiden name is Miller. So her family came here early. All German immigrants, the Pennsylvania Dutch community in Pennsylvania here. German immigrants who came here for political prosecution. They moved here because they were being prosecuted over in what's Germany now and in the 1700s. But they came here early on, early in our country. So there was no immigration. You know what I mean? They didn't need to jump through hoops to become citizens at all. They literally came to this area and claimed a plot of land and started farming it. I did a lot of research into this. My aunt who's no longer with us, and I had done a lot of genealogy, and we traced it back. Now, we couldn't trace it back to Germany, but we traced all the way back to when they came here, and when at the time, you could basically claim a plot of land and it was yours. I don't know if there was money exchanged or how that actually worked, because obviously they did not keep records like that back then. But we did trace them back to mid 1700s, so like pre the United States. And they basically came here and like took a piece of land and started farming it, and then it was theirs. So, and it was here right in Pennsylvania, not too far from where I live now. So they didn't have to jump through any hoops. They didn't have to do anything. They basically just came here and started farming and created, obviously, generational life for themselves, to the point where, my uncle still lives in one of the houses that was built in the 1700s that was part of the family and it was not the people that part with the farm, but it was owned by family members since it was built in the 1700s. Which it has a funny story. But we could get into that maybe a little bit later. Actually, no, I'm going to tell you. So, the house that my uncle lives in, that my grandparents ended up living in. So, my grandmother on my mom's side ended up pregnant at 17. She did not know what sex was, and she got talked into it by my grandfather and got pregnant. And they ended up moving into the family home where there was multiple family sections of the house where multiple family members lived in. Now, I always thought it's not a big house compared to houses now. It really isn't. But it's a large house compared to houses back then. So I always wondered why, and it has a lot of weird little rooms upstairs and a lot of big open rooms downstairs, but then it has a huge kitchen with a big pantry, and then I couldn't figure out, it's a weird setup house, let's just put it that way. And I couldn't figure out why it was like that. Well, here, if you look into the history of it, and keep in mind, my grandmother was about as Christian could be. She was very, 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 not like the annoying kind, like the kind where the church was good for her. Do you know what I mean? She was very Christian as far as Christian values go, where she's the kind of person who would help anyone, who did not judge anybody, who did not, would take, give you the shirt off her back and be left with no shirt before, she was just that kind of a person. She was what I consider Christianity to be the meaning. She always had a kind word. She never judged people, You know, she was just always accepting of whatever was going on. So she was the good kind of Christian. But I looked into the history of the house. Funny story. The reason for all those little rooms upstairs is because it was a brothel. It was a tavern and a brothel upstairs. Okay. So that's a funny story. Oh my goodness. You know, and it's funny because like nobody ever wanted to admit that. They were like, oh, it was an inn. I'm like, it was an inn. There's a lot of in and out, if you know what I'm saying. Yeah. Oh my goodness. I need to put a button on this. So, all right. So I cannot say a word on my mom's side. And then, but here's where we really get into the part where I can't say a damn word about immigration, okay? Because my father's side of the family, funny story, I am one of only a few people in the entire world that have my last name, which is why I didn't change it when I got married, because it's very unique. And there's a reason for that. There's a reason why my last name is so unique. It is because my father's family, the ones who are my names, who I, you know, our surname comes from, yeah, they came here during the Revolutionary War as Hessian soldiers. Yeah, we came here fighting for the British. Not for the Americas. Nope. We came here and fought with the British as paid soldiers. Yeah. And then when they got captured, they got put into prison and they were supposed to get deported. Okay? I understand that. I would be deporting people who were hired to come here and fight against Americans too. 100%. That I can stand behind. However, my relatives broke out of jail. Fun story. And what did they do? They changed their last name and they moved into communities around Pennsylvania. So, yeah. When I hear people say, come here the legal way, yeah. Well, we didn't exactly come here legally. We didn't exactly come here. We actually came here as enemies. And then we were arrested. And we're supposed to get sent back. And we broke out and we stayed. So you'll never hear me, not in a billion years, talk about illegal people in this country. Because my family sure the hell did not come here legally. They sure the hell did not jump through all the hoops that people today have to jump through to become citizens. No, we changed our names and everything so that we wouldn't get caught. Oh, yeah. That is my family's story. And I wonder how many other people, because it was not a totally unique story. There was a lot of Hessians. So if you have some German ancestry in there, you might want to make sure there's no dirt in your past, because there's certainly a little dirt in mine. And it's not something that, how is it? Hold on, let me pause this a second. And the one thing I always find interesting is every time I tell that story, which I'm not ashamed of. I mean, that's just the way it is. Like, our family came here as Hessians, and and what they saw was when they were here, they saw that there was a huge German community in Pennsylvania, in this area. There's still, you know, Pennsylvania Dutch. The Amish still speak Pennsylvania Dutch. They are all German immigrants. And they saw that there was this huge German community in the area, and that people, you know, spoke German and things like that, and that they had come here for political prosecution, not political, religious prosecution and things like that, and then they made these really cool lives here. And so, you know, they wanted to stay. They did not want to go back to, it was better here than it was over there. They wanted the opportunity that these other people had. And, you know, and I don't necessarily blame them, you know, but I think, like, having looked into the history a lot, there was a lot of Hessian soldiers, especially in this area. I mean, even in Allentown, which I live near, there was a big encampment where they didn't really have a place to put these Hessian soldiers. They didn't really know what to do with them. So they built like an encampment and put them in there to like house them. And a lot of them did get free and left and did integrate into the communities and things like that. You know, so, and I've never heard anybody else like ever admit to that in their past. And I think there has to be other people, especially in this area, that have come here the same way. That there was other Pennsylvania Dutch people or other Germans, you know, that came here the same conditions, the same reasons, you know, and again, I mean, so I understand. No, I don't. I just, I don't, like I said, I don't want to get like super over political. I could talk about it till I'm blue in the face. For people who think that it's a bad thing, it is. Just, I'm not going to change your mind. And I'm not. I don't pretend that I will. I just want to put it in perspective from my family's story. That we did not come here, you know, people say, well, come here legally like my family did. My family certainly did not. You know, even my mom's side that came here, you know, before it was even a country, didn't come here legally. Like, they didn't have to do any of the things that you have to do today to become legal or a citizen. They just simply got off the boat and picked a piece of land and farmed it. You know, it wasn't, they did not have to jump through hoops. You know, and in fact, you know, they were part of building a lot of the community around here. But again, they did not, you know, they were not native to here. They did not have to jump through hoops to come in here, you know. And like I said, my dad's side of the family, you know, the Raybuck side, we have a weird last name because it didn't exist before, because we changed it, because we were escaping the same religious prosecution that was going on that caused my mom's side of the ancestors to come over. However, they came here fighting a war against America. You know, and they stayed, and obviously the families thrived, you know. So when I just would love to see a little more compassion going out there. We see a lot of ugliness right now. And like, I'm on Facebook a lot. I know I'm old. And I see a lot of talk about ICE and immigration and things. And the ugliness of the comments is what I want to discuss. And it really hurts my heart, and it bothers me, because I wonder how many of these people, okay, who are spewing hatred and ugliness, if we were to look for some skeletons in your family's closet when it comes to immigrating to this country, would we find anything? Because I bet you we would. You know, I'm just going to say that. I'm going to say, how many people, if we looked for, because I certainly have skeletons in my family's closet, you know, and we've been here a long time, but we did not come here in a great way, you know? And I have no right to look at people who are trying to come here and ill will. You know, obviously, if people are here and are committing horrible crimes, I'm not talking a parking ticket or a speeding ticket. I'm talking people who are doing, you know, assault or rape or, you know, anything violent. Get them, deport them. Immediately deport them, okay? Once they're convicted of the crime, not before, deported. Absolutely. Deport. But these are human beings. There's a reason why they came here. Most of them are productive members of society, okay? Another quick little story is, you know, I've met quite a few immigrants in my time, okay? And I'm not going to get specific with things, but all of them have a story as to why they came here, okay? People who are freshly immigrated, not, you know, generationally here. And they all have a reason they came here. And most of them came here legally. Not all of them. I have a few people that I know that came here illegally. But with good reason. And like the one woman that I know, she came here illegally from Mexico. But she's a citizen now. And one of the hardest working people I've ever met in my life. One of the nicest, kindest, most hardworking people I've ever met in my life. And from day one when she got here, she was working, paying taxes, got herself, you know, bought a house. I mean, you know, worked on getting her papers, worked on getting her legal status, worked on getting her citizenship, and she is now a citizen. And, you know, but she came here, tried to get in here legally. It didn't work right, so she came here illegally and did the process a different way. Like I said, one of the hardest working people, one of the kindest people. I mean, she always would, I worked with her and she would bring me, like whenever she went to visit Mexico and she went home, she would come back and bring me things. I never asked for that. She would just always like, oh, I went on a trip, I brought you stuff. Like, okay. Just the sweetest, nicest person that, you know, and one of many people I know that immigrated here, and they all have stories, and all of them, you know, like I said, not one person, not one immigrant that I know that came here is sitting around collecting government money, you know, not paying taxes. I know a whole lot more citizens who are sitting around collecting government money, not paying taxes, that shouldn't be. That's all I'm going to say about that. All right. Political rant over. I hope you enjoyed my story. I hope you enjoyed my hood. I hope you enjoyed some part of this video. I'm going to let you go for today. Remember, tomorrow's Wednesday, so we're going to read more of my book. I hope you look forward to that. I have enjoyed spending some time with you today. I apologize that I'm tired and not 100% today. But I hope I made you smile at least a little bit or gave you something to think about. I love each and every one of you. I appreciate each and every one of you. I hope you have a great day. I hope you do something that makes you smile at least once today. And choose love every day. Bye, everybody.